Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast. Today we have a very special episode for you guys. By the time you listen to this, it'll be the month of March, which means March Madness will be on the horizon. And the L7C decided to talk about what it takes to win in March, what it takes to win in basketball. So for that, we have someone who has been a part of March basketball 4 years, competitive, actually 8, 4 in college, 4 in high school, competitive March, end of February basketball. You've heard him on the real estate stuff we've done. You've heard him on the dating one, Black History Month. He's back. Junior Arrey, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm well, man. Good to be back. How are you?
Good. And since it's your first time back in a while, congratulating you on last year, you and Jake having a top 10 episode of 2022 with the real estate one. So congrats on having your first top 10 episode on this.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
So before we get into some of the stuff, Junior, you've been in a lot of intense February, March basketball. How different is it compared to like playing in October, November, December?
Oh, it's different. Absolutely. Different feel, different vibe. It's a lot on the line. And it's pretty much when when February and March hits, it's go time. That's when the real players come out. That's when the true winners come on the court and own what's there. So I love it. I love being a part of it for 8 years straight. And trust me, I wish I can go back and do it all over again because that's when the best ball is played in Central Ohio. So.
And you did it in Central Ohio. You did it in
West Virginia
college
too,
basketball. So you were a part of March Madness. You were part of one and you're done. And so this one we were talking about, like just having a conversation on what it takes to win in basketball. What things do you need in basketball? What type of players, positions, like mindset, especially at these high levels?
Yeah. So what to do when you're trying to win, and especially in the postseason, is one, everyone has to be on one accord. Everyone has the same goal in mind. Says that's the championship. You have to win the championship, meaning you have to do whatever it takes to get it done. And when it comes to that, you gotta make sure your rebounders are good, your defensive players are good, your offensive key players they're doing what they're supposed to do. Everyone's on the same pace. And it's the crazy thing too, Marlon. We always talk about when I was playing. Is like it takes that one night when there's one person that has an off night and throws everything off, then you're screwed. But you always gotta make sure you're resilient and you're being able to bounce back. And if you have that down, you should be good to go.
Yeah, so like you went into the player types. I wrote down some player types I think you would need on a team to be successful, and I want to run them by you.
Please.
These aren't in any particular order, just the way I wrote down. So first one I put down was a scorer, and I put what a scorer is someone who can, when you need a basket, when you've gone 10 minutes without scoring, who can at least get to the basket, and if they can't get there, get to the free throw line, someone who can make a shot. How do you feel about that?
No, that's correct. Everyone on every single team needs a score, a go-to score like, hey, this is crunch time, we haven't scored in a while, just what you just said. We need a bucket, run a quick hitter for them, and they're willing to deliver. Every single time you need a point, they should be able to deliver every single time.
And then from that end, because in basketball things, people are like, oh, score, but this is different. A shooter. Mm-hmm. So you need someone who can extend the court.
Yes.
Because if that score is going in, driving, kicking out to these shooters, and you don't have to be, you could be a shooter, but it doesn't mean you're a scorer.
Correct.
So how do you feel about that?
Every team needs a shooter as well. All the teams that I've been a part of that's been really successful is we had a scorer in Nick Ward or myself or Jordan Mitchell. Or Elijah Boone, if we're going that low. Elijah Boone, myself, Elijah Boone, and Tommy Collins. And then when it comes to shooters, I've always been around great shooters. For example, Kevin Smith and Brandon Shingles from West Virginia. I've always been very blessed and fortunate that so far with the two you've named, we've been able to have a score that we need to get a score on or a shooter to stretch the court out.
Yeah, so then going with that too, staying on the offensive one. Yeah. Need a good playmaker. Obviously, they don't have to be the best scorer. They don't have to be the best shooter, but someone who makes great decisions while they're on the court
and get the ball at the right
who's
time.
Getting to the people at the right time. How do you feel about that one?
It's imperative, dude. If you don't have a playmaker or aka a point guard or even a shooting guard, doesn't matter what position. If you don't have a playmaker that operates the offense, make sure everyone gets involved, make sure they're passing the ball at the right time in the right pocket, reading the defense, reading the defensive schemes. You need that in March and February, or you will be screwed.
So then you go to little on the defense. You need someone who's willing to defend.
Yes.
Someone who is like
willing to dive on the floor, loose balls, gritty.
So I have that in my Rough Rider.
Okay.
So I have that. I have that separate. So I have defender saying
shutting down the best player on the opposite team
who's willing to do that.
Yes, and doesn't care about scoring or anything else. Their goal is, hey, when I get in the game, I'm shutting this person down. And if I didn't, I failed my team and I failed myself. But again, you need a scorer, a shooter, and a defender, of course, to really make a great team and a big run in March.
Yeah, so I'm watching all this basketball, man, in college and NBA, and like sometimes paying attention to what's going on in the high school AAU scene.
Yeah.
Do you see any? I feel like that's where teams are lacking because they're trying to outscore somebody, but there's not really any.
There's no defense.
Lockdown, like a Ron Artest, like a Tayshaun Prince type. Lock you down defenders.
Yeah. No, there's none. I haven't seen it in a while. But then when I do see them, it's rare, and that's another thing too. People don't realize. When it comes to shooters and those defenders, like those are the crowd's favorites, in my opinion. Because if a shooter goes, everyone's sitting there waiting for that. When the ball goes in, the crowd's gonna shock everybody. You know, same with the defender, like dive on loose balls, shutting down the opposing scorer on their team. It's fun to watch, and crowds love seeing a guy getting low, trying to stop their best player, in my opinion. So
then you alluded to one of my other ones, the Rough Rider.
Yeah.
The Rough Rider, the person who they truly do not care about stats. They are diving. They're taking charges. They're diving on the ground.
Absolutely.
They're the ones, if your scorer or whoever is getting in an argument with another player, they hop right in, ready to fight. Like those people. I know those are really rare now because with the way basketball is being played, there's a lot of softness. But
no, I mean,
you need
everyone needs a Draymond Green. You gotta be real. Everyone needs a Draymond Green. Everyone needs a Ron Artest. Everyone needs a Dennis Rodman. Like you need those people on your team that's gonna do the dirty work, and they don't care if they get looked at or get the lights or like the lights are not on them. They're still going to show up every single day and dive on loose balls, take those charges. You know, throw some elbows, get physical. You know, get in someone's shit, and it's amazing. I love them. I had a couple on my team that I loved and wouldn't trade for the world.
Yeah, because those people, too, they're also the ones, depending on their size, they're setting those good screens that are getting the scorers able to drive or the shooters wide open for shots. But a lot of people don't embrace that rule because everyone's stat crazy, wants to score. I mean, the old thing is like fresh in like high school and college freshmen, they just want to play. Sophomores, they want to start, score? No, start. Yeah, then juniors, they want to score, and then seniors want to win.
Yeah.
So then go into that with the Rough Rider too. It's just a role player who's out there.
Gets the job done.
Who's out there who can come off the bench, relieve the starter sometime, get you some points. You're confident that Junior has 2 fouls. I could put so and so in. He's gonna either keep us at bay or he might even have a great night and all of that. And the rarest one, the combo. So. This is a combination of any of those ones. So you could be the scorer and the defender, a la a Michael Jordan.
A 3-and-D?
Well, or in that sense, you can be a 3-and-D. You could be a 3-and-D. You shoot the 3 and play defense. Or you're like the Kobe Michael type where you're scoring and then you go right back there and you're guarding the best player. Then you score on them again. Or, I mean, those ones are super hard because people are now trying to
waste their energy.
Yeah, they're... Because it's like, now I got to score, so I'm not playing defense. But those are...
So, like, my question for you is, like, you've watched me play since I was in diapers. So, in those categories, which one would I fit personally?
It depends on the era.
Okay, great question. So then, let's say high school.
High school... I would say you were more combo with... playmaking and defending. That's what I would feel. You could score, but you had so many weapons around you, like you just talked about, that you were more on the playmaking side. And then you'll quietly, you were getting assists and playing defense, getting steals and all that, but then you'll quietly have like 8, 10, 14, 15 plus points, like just quietly. So
and then what about transition to college?
Early.
So let's do freshman year and then let's do my senior year.
freshman year, I mean, it was because you were defending. You were coming off the bench too, so you were that instant like jolt. So you were more the role player.
Yeah.
Ish your freshman year that you were as soon as you were out there you wanted to make an impact.
Yeah.
If it was shooting, driving the basket, kicking out, playing defense, getting steals, that was what you were. You were a high end role player who fringe of starting, but that's where you were at freshman year.
Yeah. We won't get into why I was not starting my freshman year, but we know how it goes.
So then sophomore year you were evolving into the combo of score and for your team scoring and playmaking because people left. As you and Elijah, I mean, your first game sophomore year, you almost had a triple-double. You had the game-winning assist. So, and then junior year, it went more back to playmaking, defending, and you would do the stuff other people wouldn't want to do. So you were more playmaking, defending, and like the rough riding part. I mean, you had every weapon around you, got them all the ball. There's a reason. That's the best record that school's had and all of that. And then senior year, you reached that category where you did everything. You were the primary scorer. Yeah. Primary. I mean, you got the most steals. You would defend. Yeah. You would do whatever is necessary. I mean, there are times where you can have 4 points, but then you have like 8 rebounds, 10 assists. So that's the role. In that mode, you were more, as we've talked about him before on the podcast, he's not a friend, but a great mentor-ish from afar. Tim Grover. Yep. You wanted to win. That's what his point. And I mean, there's a reason senior year you led the league. You led your team in every stat category but blocks. Yeah. And there's a reason that you were the player of the year there because you looked at your stats and you're like doing everything. Yeah. And when you were scoring at an efficient percentage. You weren't scoring like low 40s. You were in the high 40s. You were at pretty decent from 3. Yeah. The only thing was just the free throws around like 70%.
Yeah,
so that's where it was at.
Though. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So then you go into what I watch, and a lot of people don't know these stuff because I know like situational stuff in basketball.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm watching basketball with some people and it's a tie game and it's 2 minutes, 1 minute left, and I say the real game begins now.
Absolutely.
And they're just like, what are you talking about? The game's been going forever. What I mean by the real game begins now, if there's only 2 minutes or a minute especially left, each team may get 2 or 3 possessions at most.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on those possessions.
So that's it. It's a game of 3. Yeah. Who scores on what? Who defends on what?
That's it.
And then that's the game.
That's it.
So what do you think about that when a game is tied or you're down 1 and you're in the final 2 minutes?
So are you asking like what I do personally in these situations?
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've known, like I've always been in these tight situations where like once that 2 minute hits and the game's tied,
or you're down 1.
Yeah, it's make or break. It's pressure time, and that's when the real game begins. That's when you really get tested. So I'll give you examples like when it's tied game and say the opponent team has the ball. I'm making sure I'm guarding their best player. I'm shutting them down. I'm running through screens. I'm chasing whatever I can do to get us that stop. And then once we get that stop, we're going to do something that's going to go through me. You know, especially I'm talking about my senior year in college. We're going to do something that's going to go through me or get them on the ball, on the block, whatever the case is. And we just got to make sure, one, we milk as much time and then we get a good possession, get a good shot. So say if it's tight or if we're down, we're pressing. You know, we got to press, speed them up, get a turnover, get a trap, whatever the case is. And then if we get a foul one-on-one, they miss, we get the ball and we go. You know, it just depends on who's on your team and what type of mindset you have when it comes to those. Because a lot of people in those during those scenarios, they choke. They don't know what to do. They're scared. They're pouting. Whatever the case is, and I live for those moments. You know, because whatever Tim Grover says, pressure is a privilege. So this is when the real true winners come about, and that's exactly what I'm blessed and been a part of. Is all my teams like we rise to the occasion. Sometimes we fail, and that happens. You just got to go back, look at the film, see what we did wrong throughout the game to get us to that point, and then you fix it.
No, I agree. It's crazy, too, because it ties into that where someone could be having a great game, but then when it's the final 2 minutes or final minutes tied, they can't make anything.
Absolutely.
Or they're making terrible mistakes, and you're just wondering what happened to you. And like you said, some players, they cannot deal with the pressure.
Yeah, they don't want the ball. Oh, but you got to live for that.
So then another thing that I look at with teams is when I'm trying to decide, like, especially for like a March Madness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Has your team been down before, and how do you respond? Like, if your team's down 20 and a half, what was the end result? Did you guys give up and fight back, or did you guys just can it in? That's how you show me your mental state, like as a team. Like, if you're down 10 in the fourth quarter, do you give up, or
do you keep fighting until the game's over? For me personally, I'm going to keep going because, again, you and I, we've always been through this with the whole mindset, watching Kobe, Jordan, Tim Grover, Patrick Bet-David. We don't stop until it's over with. It's that simple. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to cave in until I hear that buzzer go.
Yep.
A lot of people, sometimes there's, again, mental toughness. Some people get down, get their ass kicked. They look at the score, they're pouting and say, oh, man, the game's over. For me, no. I'm like, all right, what can I personally do now to get my team to where we can get back in a comfortable deficit and try to take the lead?
Yeah, I agree, especially for the teams that I've seen you be on, and teams in general in basketball, where they have the quote-unquote superior team on paper, and they're supposed to blow a team out by 20, but then they're losing, and then they just crumble. So, like, when you get late in the year, if you've never been in a close game, I can't trust you.
Yeah. No, I understand. And, it's crazy you said that because my junior year, when we were in the international tournament, we lost to that team that we have no business losing to. It just, we sort of point the finger at the refs or at the coach or one another. But we didn't really, look within and say, hey, okay, they're making threes, let's make adjustments. Also, we did not do, but...
You actually just went to the fourth point of mine.
Oh, well, no,
right, that was a perfect one. Does your team make adjustments or stay the same when things aren't going your way?
Usually, if it's a good team and a good coaching staff, they're going to make adjustments, saying, where the hell are we getting killed at? But some coaches, they don't want to do it. They just say, hey, believe in our system and we should be fine. And it does not work all the time.
Yeah, that's you brought up junior year of college.
Yeah.
First time ever Tech advances in the NCAA tournament. They were number 1 seed.
Yeah.
All that. I'm not even going to say the junior year of college where it was blatant. We're even going to go back junior year of high school.
That too.
When you guys were playing Northland, obviously, for people who are listening in the Columbus area, Northland, Gahanna, they're very good basketball programs. Gahanna had Northland on the ropes. Northland starts making threes. Gahanna stays in the 2-3 zone. They do not change.
Correct.
And by the time you wanted to change, game was over. Blue lost. That could have been a potential state title there.
Absolutely.
But when coaches are so fixed in, we're never going to make adjustments, that's not going to work in these times.
Correct.
So, how did you feel when you're sitting there multiple times and you're like, hey, we need to make an adjustment or we're going to lose, and they don't do it and you lose? How do you feel about
personally, when that happened to us, I was thinking to myself saying damn, how did we even get to that position? Again, we didn't execute down the stretch. Another one, we didn't rebound well. Two, a third thing is now looking at myself, I'm like, I should have made my free throws. Because a lot of us did not make our free throws, and I felt like I was a main contributor, so I blamed myself for not holding my end, holding myself accountable, and making my free throws. Hence why some of these colleges were at the game didn't stop looking at me, because they don't want a point guard that can't make free throws down the stretch. So
it goes right into the next thing, free throws late in games.
Yeah.
That's obviously when
that's huge.
You're more tired.
Yeah.
Your palms are more sweaty.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's more on. So it's can you make those? What can I leave you on the court?
Yeah.
Knowing that if we get in this foul situation, you're consistent in making free throws. I think that's a big thing that you got to look at for teams.
People don't realize that though. It's huge. It's a very fine detail that people really look over. And when I know some too, when I started to be more consistent with my free throw, it's all mental, dude. It's all mental. Once you get that muscle memory, those reps in, you guys zone everyone out and just focus on you and just knock them down. But a lot of people don't really work on free throws like that. It's a lot of art.
Yeah, and you brought up more stuff too from a player and all that stuff. So if your primary role is a scorer, and shots aren't going in, or shooter and your shots aren't going in, what else are you contributing? Because if I'm seeing you do that, and you can't contribute, then you're a detriment to the team.
You're useless, No, I agree. If there's some nights that I could not score, and I'll start to power get, or whatever the case is, and I'll be upset. So then I'll have to make it up by rebounding or getting more assists, getting other people involved. Because once that happens, the opponents are worried about them. So that's when I get the scoring in and then go from there. But do other stuff, like the dirty work. I dive for loose balls. I take charges. I make sure everyone else is, good. And it worked out for me perfectly fine.
How do you feel about players who play better. Obviously, the things like some people say role players play better at home than they do on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how do you, when you're the star player on the team, how do you feel going in home versus the road?
It doesn't matter to me. No.
How do you feel about then getting your team? Like, how do you know one of your teammates is going to have a good night?
Body language and like warm ups. If they're taking the warm ups seriously and they're breaking a sweat and they're zoning everything out and just worried about us, they're gonna have a good game. And I make sure too, early in the game, I'm feeding everybody so they can get going because I know I can get going whenever. I can turn on whenever. But certain players, they don't know how to do that. Mm-hmm. So I gotta make sure I give them the ball a lot to make sure their confidence is up. They're getting their thing going. So then now, again, the coaches make adjustments to take them away. Now it's my time. Now it's easier because now they can't put too much pressure on me. Because obviously, again, think about it, senior year. What's any team we play? What's their report on me or report on our team?
Report on the team. I mean, you make the team go. I mean, you're a driver, so you're going to try.
So stop
drive.
number 3.
Yeah. So pack the paint. And
exactly. Stop number 3, and then we'll be fine. So then I know that going in every single time, like their main scouting report is going to be about me. Let me get everyone else involved. Stretch the defense out. Then now I can go in there.
No.
And create plays and then do what I have to do.
When do you get to a point, too, if you see, when in your mind do you see, like, all right, they're not going, I need to start doing some stuff?
When we have consecutive misses and horrible
do you have a number in your head?
I would say 3 or 4 plays we're not executing well or we're missing shots, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, let me get everyone back in the right flow. And then I'll run a play for me personally to score or whatever the case is, and then we get things going.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good, because I don't think a lot of people in their own head like have a like number, because a lot of someone could be a scorer, but they can't create they can't create for anybody else. Yeah. Like you pass them the ball, they turn up, face up, shoot, drive, whatever, but they're not able to create for other people, and some people can't create their shots. So I feel like when you have teams that are all shooters, okay, who's creating who's getting them the ball?
Exactly. Yep.
Or if everyone's all scorers, all right, so if everyone's a scorer, what are they going to do when one person has the ball?
Yeah.
Okay, and if everyone's a defender, great, but who's putting the ball in the bucket?
It's true.
So I think when coaches, like even from middle school up, and then you go like 80s, all stuff, when you're constructing your team, you got to have some little of all of those things, because if you only have
I agree.
one thing, all right, we're going to score 100, but we're going to let the other team score 105. Or, all right, so, for example, like a college team like Virginia.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hold you to 45, but we can't score 38.
Can't do anything. What's the point?
Yeah, so like that, and I understand coaches have their specific people they go for, but you got to have something of everything to be successful.
I agree 100%.
Like if you're building a team.
Yes.
So you're going in there, you could pick which level, high school, college, even middle school, I don't care.
Yeah, I'll go for college.
So like you're going to college, you're recruiting, and you have your board. What are you looking for in players to be to have a successful
team?
Being
coachable.
What does that mean?
Just making sure. That's a good question. But for me personally, like being coachable, like, hey, you messed someone here, let me tell you what you should have done. Instead of, talking back, getting attitude, being open and say, okay, coach, I understand. Thank you for letting me know that. And then just next time down, doing that. That's coachability right there.
Is it hard to be coachable in this area now?
Yes.
Because, I mean,
they know everything.
I've been out of, like, quote-unquote, training, helping people with basketball for a long time. Yeah. And, like, you're right in it now. It's another source of income for you. What is it like with these kids now? If you tell them something, especially if you go to college, you tell them something, they go on their Instagrams, whatever, and someone's like saying, oh, don't listen to them. You're a dog. You're a monster.
Yeah, so with my training company that I do, like, I tell them from the jump, like, listen, like, I get paid a shit ton of money to develop you. I'm not here to be your friend. So I'm going to tell you straight up, either you like it or not. If you don't like it, there's a door. You're not hurting anybody. Listen, I was first team All-American. I was player of the year. I was first team All-Conference. I scored well over 1,200 points. Like, I know what it takes to win and to be at that next level. I had the offers. It's like, wouldn't you not want to listen to me and actually think, hey, this dude knows his stuff. Let me actually listen. And it's crazy. The people that do listen, they go on and do great things. Simple.
Yeah, I just feel like
because that's the thing is too is like parents that have these kids nowadays, they raise them soft. Like they allow them to do whatever they want, and I don't tolerate that.
I also think there's too many people in people's ears.
That's
and
true.
Like,
you know how it goes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, besides parents, they have all their friends in their ear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't cut it down like their small circle of trust. Whose opinion does it actually matter? That, like, if you got some dude who randomly hits you up in the DMs like, hey, man, forget that coach.
Yeah.
Like, you're better than all that stuff. Then
Absolutely.
I feel like now it's really hard because, like you said, the way people are getting raised, and then you watch current products now of people, they don't want to grind, they'll just transfer.
That's all it is.
Or in the NBA, if they don't want to grind, they'll trade.
They don't want the work. They don't want.
So I mean, you're right in it because I don't think it's harder being coachable.
It's difficult now. So now it's like when they don't listen, dude, I just tell them to get out. And like I said, people don't realize that, like, I kick people out. I probably kick more people out than I keep in the gym. So, and another thing is, like, I'll give you your money back. I can care less. I'm here to help you. I'm here to take you to the next level. Either you're all in, put mom, dad, the kids I'm training, or the door's right there.
So coachable. What are your things? Yeah. What other things are you looking for?
You gotta be coachable. Work ethic.
Okay.
Why? Just like Kuba says, like, I should not be fighting you to get in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You better be in the gym by yourself. You better be shooting on the gun. You better be doing extra stuff. So, being coachable, hard work, discipline, consistency, showing up every day. Whether you have a fight with your girlfriend, leave that shit. As soon as you cross on that court, it's go time.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I want to say those are the main ones for me personally. Then obviously, like, I want to see where a skill set is. To see, like, okay, I need to do more player development with this person. All right.
How do you assess someone's skills?
Oh, it's easy. You first day, open gym, you will see what people can do. And there are obviously going to be some people think that can do some things that they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And then just knowing your role. Trust me, you're going to figure at that level, you know what you're good at. Don't try to force something that you're not good at. There's a reason why I recruit certain people because I know what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me personally, Biggie, so it's being coachable, consistent, discipline, work ethic. Those are main things for me. Like, if I have that, I'm going to win championships. And then again, another one, just being selfish.
Okay.
So it's just those things. Like, if you have all that in a core group or team, you're going to win.
There's a lot of teams that don't.
What about you though? I'm sorry. Like, what? If you're going to start recruiting in college, who are you bringing in? Like, what type of people do you want in your program that's going to give you guys a good look?
People I would want if I was the one recruiting, like if I'm recruiting, I would want the first thing, which some people may think is crazy, because back in the day, obviously now with Instagram and everyone has a YouTube, back in the day it was just Huddle.
Mm-hmm.
You've had all your highlights on there, all that stuff. I mean, even you, when you were getting recruited, you had some highlights from high school, college, all that.
Yeah.
Me, because the way I see basketball, I'm asking for the game logs from your worst games.
Yeah.
I want the full videos from your worst game, and I want to see your body language when you're going 2 for 10, when you're going 3 for 15, when the other guy's having a field day on you because he never makes threes, but he's making threes. I want to see if you're still competing or you pout. If you're still competing when you're having your worst days, I want you on my team.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with, like, highlights and stuff. All you only see is the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want the full game films I want the 5 game films of your 5 worst games of the season.
Yeah.
And I want to watch them all repeatedly. All right, you went 5 for 15. Your team won because you got 5 steals, 10 rebounds, and the game-winning assist.
Yeah.
Your person who you were guarding just had a magical day from 3 and went like 8 for 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you went back, got the key steal. You didn't give up. You were still fighting.
Yeah.
Like that's the very first thing I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like, other things that you said I think are valid too, but then when I'm in there, I want to see how they present themselves, because I'm gonna ask them, I mean, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to come here because you think you're gonna be able to score 20 points a game, which is very hard to do in college?
Mm-hmm.
Or you come in here because you want to get to the next level, or you come in here because a mixture of both, get your education.
Absolutely.
And then I want to listen to all that stuff. And then if they say with that, and then they don't say they want to win, I'm not taking them.
Yeah.
Because when you're coming to play, obviously you want to win.
Simple.
Like, if you don't want to win and it's not included in your thing, like, all right, I want to come there, I want to score 20-some, I want to get my degree. Cool, I'm waiting. You didn't say you didn't want to win?
I don't want you.
Now, if you come in, first thing's like, I want to lead this team to its first championship. I want to do all this stuff. I don't care if you say you want to score 50 points a game, but you want to win. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to prove it to me that you're
you want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, if I throw that ball in a loose ball drill, you're going to be the first one diving?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, if you're going to be the star player on the team, are you going to lead by example?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be in the gym, or am I going to scroll through and have to worry about you getting caught up somewhere
on TikTok,
stupid stuff when that means you don't want to win? So those are some of the biggest things that I would look for if I was in that thing, in that space. Because I don't agree. Because people see highlights and just be like, oh, man, they're so great. I was like, all right, well, show me their worst.
I agree.
But no, that's what I'm looking for. So then when you're there, would you have a percentage like, all right, I need how many people, like X amount of people who can shoot the three? I need X amount
of people. That's another thing, too. That's all about player development. You can get a core group of people that you think, hey, I know for a fact they're going to bring it every single day and they want to win. And then now it's just developing them. You just got to develop them. Because sometimes there'll be times where like, hey, this score's not on, but I know this guy is a silent scorer. I think he can provide for us for this night. It's just different aspects. Of course, you're going to need your big-time shooters and big-time scorers, rebounds, defenders, but there's going to be other people that's going to start creeping up that you're going to have to keep your eye on, and then that time comes, you never know, it may be their night. Boom, that's all it is. So I think it all goes back to player development, in my opinion.
I think it's interesting for shooters, high school, college, sometimes even the professional level, where if the game is a 5-point lead or whatever, they can make anything.
Yep.
But when talent is the same, they just pick the worst nights to.
Oh, I've been there a couple times with some of my teammates.
Yeah, the worst nights to miss shots, and it's like, well, this is the game. We really need you to make these wide open threes, and you're not. But you're able to make them when we're up 20.
Yep, that's the worst. That's the worst that happens. I mean, of course, in my opinion, in my situations, a couple times, high school and college, like it sucks. But what can you do about it?
That's where if you're there and you're seeing it, you're like, all right, well, I need to do something.
Yeah.
Like I need to either talk in his ear, like, hey, you need to get going, or you got to take over. That's when you have to make that choice. So what you said with the college thing. So then how, especially now, because you come through. Most basketball players are playing basketball all year. You're coming through that AAU circuit where it has its pros, it has its cons, but you're like, all right, if they're just going to think this is AAU ball in college, that ain't going to work up here.
Yeah.
And then how big of a thing would you think parents have in that situation?
Oh my God. Parents are the main root of everything. It's like
I would say that in high school and college, once you get to like professional, I feel like since we're talking, I feel like it's more like your significant other, friend group,
social media.
Yeah, social media is the biggest one. But
but when it comes to high school and college, man, your parents are always, you don't know what your parents are saying behind closed doors. Only you do. So like sometimes parents are like, man, you should shoot the ball more. Why aren't you doing that? Stop passing so and so the ball. It's your team. And then ego starts to get involved, and that's how some teams there's some teams that are great talent, that are very talented, that don't go for it because there's egos, there's cancers to the team. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Your sophomore high school basketball team got destroyed by egos.
That was pathetic. Yeah, I don't know how we didn't win states. Honestly,
so many college athletes on that team and didn't get anywhere.
Anywhere because there's ego stuff behind locker room issues, parents involved. I mean, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now, but no, I mean parents play a big role in high school and college, and then again like in professional, social media, women. You know, other things like that. So it sucks. I'm telling you, nowadays it sucks. It sucks. You just hopefully that's why you try to recruit the best players you can, and you know, hopefully they're disciplined, and humble, and don't let the shit get to them.
Because you're training these kids, and you're telling them to do a drill. What do you do when you tell them to turn a drill? They turn around and they got their phone out trying to do a TikTok.
They're not allowed having their phones.
How does that work? Because you know a lot of people they're attached.
I said, listen, if you want to be on your phone, get out. Like, you're not wasting my time, your parents' money, and your time doing that stupid stuff. Either you put your phone away, or the door's right there. The choice is yours.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a great thing to have because that's the first thing anyone wants to do now. Like, post their drill. I'm like, why are you posting your drill? No one needs to know what
No one cares. No one cares.
So
they just want to show everyone that, hey, I'm in the gym, I'm working, but you're too busy on your fucking phone instead of working.
Because I also think a lot of things with the players too now that like the mindset we said it earlier because there's a lot of players who's like, oh, I'll just go give this person buckets, all that stuff, but they're not studying the game. They're not watching film. They're not seeing this person.
But they do watch film. They only watch themselves.
They only watch themselves. They only watch their. They're not watching, saying, "Oh, when this person guards someone, he always leads with his right foot, so I could cross him to the left." Or they don't do 10. Like they're just like, it's okay. I'll go give them 20. But then when that person gives you 30, you're like, "Oh, I don't." Or the worst. If I ever hear a player say, we lost. It's okay. I got 20.
I got mine.
You're
Get
done.
out.
You're
Get
done.
out.
You're instantly off the team.
You're pathetic. That's selfish.
Because there are players like that.
Oh, I know.
Especially when you're in that high school level where they're like, I got mine in front of the scout.
Okay, and did you win?
I don't care. They're like, I got mine.
Come on now.
And I feel like with scouts, they're like, oh, yeah, he did get 20. I was like, so is this what you want?
That's a cancer to the team.
Yeah,
it starts right now. When it comes to scouts, it starts from the head coach. The head coach is fine with that. They probably don't have a winning program.
No, probably. Man, great. Any other basketball stuff, man? This has been great conversation talking about team construction, winning.
So now I have a question for you. Since we're big and March is literally around the corner. I want to say Thursday. March Madness, dude. So let's just talk about that really quick.
Okay.
What are your thoughts when it comes to March Madness? Like, let's do the list. Your predictions on who you think's gonna win it all? It's gonna be tough.
So we're doing some March Madness. All right.
Yeah. So that a sleeper. I think me and you both have the same sleeper that's gonna make some noise in March Madness, and just a Cinderella team.
Okay. So first thing, my thoughts on March Madness.
Yeah.
It's one of the best, if not the best, sporting event.
Absolutely.
Of the year. The reason being is all that hard work you've gone into your season. And coaches, they say this stuff, we want to go 1-0 this week. Also, March Madness, it's real.
Yeah.
You just need to go 1-0 this day.
Yeah.
If you go 0-1, it's not like, we could go back to the drawing board. Your season's over.
And now, what'd you say to me my junior year?
Junior year, West Virginia Tech was 29-4 to end the year. Just won conference championship, all of that stuff. And I remember on the phone, I said, hey, congrats on 29-4. This is a big achievement. You're finally going to get a real ring. Like, that's the thing that this family's been chasing, a championship ring of that culture. And I said, 29-4. Remember now, from now on, when you get that fifth loss, the season's over.
And that set the
Just
tone.
Remember that.
That set the tone. For me, personally, set the tone. And that first game I went off.
Yep.
Set the tone.
People don't realize, like, a team like the Kentucky team where they had Karl Anthony Towns, all this stuff, I think they were undefeated going in. Then they lost to Wisconsin in the tournament.
I got that.
They were, when you get the one loss, Kentucky, your season's over.
Yeah.
Like, once you enter March, the execution, the planning, the player performances, it is amplified because you're going home. If you have a bad game and you don't contribute, your ass is out of here. So that's why I say that. Now, teams that I could think could win in March, this is one of those years where
it's open.
It is wide open.
It's open.
I honestly think there's 6 to 8, maybe 12 teams that can win it all this year. Because I've seen them at their highest and I've seen them at their lowest. For people listening, a lot of people who've contributed to the L7C you've seen us on fantasy football, but we do a March Madness as well. So we've had and I went with Kansas. I had that feeling with Kansas because I felt like they were tired of getting the Sweet 16 and getting their asses whooped. And they finally pulled through, won the title, Self got another title. But you're sitting there and you're like, if you're really into college basketball, what did this team do against top 25 opponents? What did this team do against non-top 25? Every team has that one game where they're playing an unranked team. They should blow them out, and they're in it. What did they do there?
Correct.
All of those things. So teams specifically.
Yeah.
Depending on how we're talking how this situation goes, Alabama.
Yeah.
They have the best freshman in the country.
But my thing is now, is he going to play in the March?
That's what I'm saying. Depending on the situation, if he doesn't play, they will be out in the first weekend.
Okay.
They'll win because they're probably gonna. If they win the SEC, they could be they could be a 1 seed.
Yeah.
If they're a 2 seed, I might have them. If Brandon Miller does, I might have them getting bounced by the 15, depending on who it is. So they're 1. I'll go through. I'll actually do it by conferences then.
Please.
So in the SEC, Alabama, Tennessee.
Yeah.
But Tennessee, they're they're wishy-washy.
Oh, 100%.
Like I really like them. Like I've always liked this Tennessee basketball since Chris Lofton, probably my favorite college basketball player ever. But they're wishy-washy, but they have a chance. You go to the ACC. I don't think anyone's going to win in the ACC.
No.
I don't think any team. I mean, people are like, "Oh, what about Virginia?" I mean, no, they are. They're
great defenders, but they don't know how to score.
Yeah, they are terrible.
They're not good.
They obviously they're the first team ever to be beat by a 16 when they were a 1.
Yeah.
And then obviously the next year, which that shows true mental toughness.
It does.
That the next year they won the title. But I can't trust them as I'm saying that too, just pulling up some of the rankings as of right now. Virginia's 6, but I don't think anyone in the ACC, I would avoid the ACC as your winner unless you're really trying to go. Confident. Big Ten, there's only one, and that's Purdue. That's because of Zach Edey, but if I've had conversations with people, they had Zach Edey and Jaden Ivey, who was a top pick in the NBA draft, playing in the NBA, and they couldn't do anything.
They lost.
They lost St. Peter's.
Yeah, St. Pete. Yep.
But if you look at Purdue, they're always picked to go far. I could go back to the days of like Etuan Moore, and even
Robbie Hummel,
who does games now. He does a Big Ten game. Etuan Moore, Hummel, before Jaden Ivey, Carson Edwards couldn't get anywhere. So I don't know what some people are saying. Oh, Purdue's a Final Four team.
They're not.
No, the top of the Big Ten basketball men's. This is the worst. It's been the middle is fine, but men's it's been absolutely terrible at the very top. But Purdue can have a shot, but I honestly don't see them coming out the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
Again, this is before the brackets.
Yeah.
Maybe we do a special episode where Selection Sunday is March 9th, I believe. That's Sunday.
Believe so.
Maybe when that Selection Sunday comes, me and Junior, we might go live on YouTube and not talk about it. But they're that. Big 12's been the best basketball conference this year, by far. Hasn't been close.
Jayhawk.
I've thought about them.
Yeah.
I do not think they're going to win this year.
It's hard to repeat.
It is, especially in this sport.
Yeah, it's so hard.
It's hard, but you got them. You got them. You have Texas. I liked Texas at the very, but when their coach got fired, I was out on them. I'm out. So Texas, Kansas, Baylor's Rough Riders. Obviously, they won championship 2 years ago. And they said like, oh, we beat Gonzaga because we train with the football team. You're not ready for that physicality, which is true. Styles make fights and everything. Yeah. If a team if you're a finesse team and you get out and you're getting beat up, you're gonna lose. It's a wrap.
Yeah,
it's a wrap.
Trash work. Yeah.
So you got to change it up. But I like Baylor. I like Texas is up there. Kansas, they're there. Kansas State.
They're sleeper.
I've watched some games from them.
TCU though.
TCU is a sleeper too. They could do some noise.
Yeah.
I will be remiss. People talk about Indiana in the Big Ten because they're right. They're not going to win the title. They're not They're not going to do it. They got great guards, but it ain't happening. Go to Pac-12. You got Arizona, but Arizona's.
It's Arizona, man.
It's Arizona. You might get a Sweet 16 out of them. You might.
Depending on who they're playing or matchups.
You might. Yeah. And then Miami, I forgot to say, Miami in the ACC. No one in the ACC is winning the title. Nobody. No. But Arizona, they're fool's gold, man. They really are. Like
they're fake news.
Every time you're like, oh.
But you know what's crazy, Omar? We talked about this. UCLA always does something good.
Well, going to the Pac-12, UCLA has been really.
That's our main sleeper. They know how to play in March.
Which is disrespectful. They shouldn't be a sleeper because they're number 4 in the country right now, but no one is really talking about them. No one, and I don't know how the hell Marquette is in top 10.
But they're ranked?
They're 10.
Whoa.
So they could be a potential sleeper. I had UConn when UConn was number 2, but they've just fallen off.
They're not.
They're falling off a cliff. But so those are some of the teams. Iowa State, Big 12.
Things, yeah.
And then you always got to look out for
the random
mid-majors. Yeah. Yes. So we go to the mid-majors. Every year, you put faith in Gonzaga. Yeah. They almost get you. They get you close to the end, if not the end, and then they lose in the title game.
Yep.
So a Gonzaga, a St. Mary's.
Yeah.
People like Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier's going to be nice. Hey, my prediction is, I'm not going to lie, Coach Steele from Xavier, he will be the next Buckeye coach. That's my prediction. That is my prediction.
Okay.
Coach Steele, if that position's open, he is stupid if he does not go for that Buckeye position.
And then we're talking about like those mid-majors and all of that stuff. And this isn't a mid-major, but they're in a smaller conference. Houston.
Yes. That's my favorite team.
They're number one in the country right now. Last year, they really put a lot of people on those. So did Alabama. That's why I'm really leading the Alabama route. But
and you know what's crazy too, Martin, about that Houston? Did I not tell you when me and you always do every year? We talk about our brackets and see how we're gonna match it up. I kept telling people because Arizona was number 1 seed. I said, hey, listen, Houston is tough.
You did?
They know how to play. They're going to beat Arizona.
You did?
And look what happened. They beat Arizona. You know, all things happens that they lost to Villanova the next round because they couldn't make a shot. But I'm telling you, Houston is going to the Final Four. If not, they will win. That's my predictions.
I got to see the bracket. If they stay the same, I think they're going to be the overall number 1 seed, which is going to be really good for them.
Yeah.
But my problem with Houston, my positive with Houston, I've actually sat and watched full games.
Yeah.
That defense is ferocious.
Insane.
Like they press.
Yeah.
And they get turnovers, all that. They have good players. Yeah. But there are times where down the stretch, ball ain't going in. They don't really have the specific
go to.
They have good players. They have
around.
Yeah. But it's not like, all right, we need a 3. Like their 3-point shooting. But obviously their coach, who's been through a whole bunch of basketball in his life. But I like them. I need to see who else they're going. Because let's just say, I don't think they would be in that thing, but let's say Kansas is a 2. If Kansas is a 2 in Houston's thing, are you that confident that you would take Kansas over Houston?
I'll take Houston over Kansas.
So you're taking Houston over anyone right now?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't
Now you're saying Houston has best against any other team at their best. I'm taking Houston.
But you know how this tournament goes.
And I know. It just takes one bad night.
And it's over. That's why I love this tournament.
That's why I'm always shaky. That's why whenever I watch the team I want to win, I make sure my phone's off. I'm by myself because it sucks. There's times where I should win just off of one game, always get screwed. I always get screwed off of one game. I can tell you every single game it was, or every single year what game screwed me. And I would have won every single year. But it sucks, man.
Because you're going to have some mid-majors come in there.
And make some noise.
You're going to see players like when OSU was the number 2 seed and played 15. Oral Roberts, 2 players given 30 balls. If you have someone who can put the ball in the hoop and it is going in as a top seed, you're in trouble.
And God, you know what's crazy too? It just, again, like I said, it just takes one night for someone to feel it.
That's it. One night. And then that one night, all right, they fell to this night, and they keep going. This is what we talk about, those Cinderella type runs. Yeah. And Cinderella runs, they could change your whole career.
Real. No one thought St. Peter's were going to go that far. No one thought it was going to be Kentucky, Purdue.
No one did. You go way years back. Yeah. No one thought that team from Davidson would go on a run that they went to the Elite Eight, but Steph Curry caught the run. Yeah. No one thought, even years after that, the Kemba Walker, which I think that's still the best run I've seen in college basketball, because they were 7 seed and they won the tournament.
Hands down.
So him and Jeremy Lamb for people in the college basketball.
Napier.
And Napier for people in the college basketball world. Man, it's tough. Like, I think those are the teams that can win. Yeah. I think UCLA is getting the least love. Yeah. I feel like Gonzaga is going to be like, first time no one's just instantly putting us in the Final Four. We could really creep up on some people. Yeah. There is one Big Ten team that's just surprising everyone right now that I'd be on the radar for Northwestern.
Yes.
They are 20-7.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective, guys. Northwestern.
How's Rutgers doing?
That's another. They are currently.
They just win. They know how to win.
Rutgers, if they get in the tournament,
they'll make some noise. Watch out. Yeah, I think they'll make some noise.
Because I've watched that team.
They beat Purdue.
They play defense. Yeah. Watch out for Rutgers. The Big Ten has more upset teams than teams that can win it all. Like Indiana, Northwestern, Rutgers. They could upset you.
Yeah, they can.
And then even though I just watched the debacle of Michigan State and Iowa. Yeah. It was terrible. Michigan State letting Iowa make 5 threes in the last minute or something.
Yeah.
Never count out Tommy boy. No. Tommy Izzo when he's in the tournament.
No.
I've seen him
Tommy Izzo
makes things work with less, but
Yeah.
I think that one's gonna be. It's gonna be the men's is super wide open, and
really wide open.
even switching to before we end the women's side.
Oh Lord.
It's everyone versus South Carolina.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And I've been more locked into women's basketball now going forward because there's so much talent. If you're not watching, watch these teams. Now, on the opposite, the Big Ten women's basketball conference, they had the best conference.
Yeah, I love it.
By far.
I love it.
I mean, there was a time Ohio State was number 2. Now Indiana's number 2. Yeah. Iowa's been from 8 to 3 to 4. Yeah. Michigan's been really good. Maryland.
Yep.
They're
doing their thing too. Yeah.
So if you're looking for some stuff in the women's tournament, who they start their conference play a tournament a week before the men, so they're starting up this Friday coming up.
Yeah.
It's everyone versus South Carolina. There's a lot of teams. I mean, a Big Ten team could go to the Final Four in the women's.
I think, in my opinion, Indiana women's actually might go Elite Eight or Final Four.
They
can play. They play so well together. They're disciplined. They run their sets. I don't know what's been gotten into us, but we've been going to these women's games, and it's fun to watch. I'm a fan of Indiana, Iowa. If my girl Caitlin Clark does her thing, they'll make a deep run. Now, granted, she has no help in my opinion, but if other players step up, like their big man, that's really good. When she ate Ohio State up, if she does her thing, yeah, I think Iowa can make a run.
That's a whole conversation for a whole another day because that was a schematic thing. Yeah. Even though that's still one of the best environments I've ever been to.
Yeah, I loved it.
So you're just looking at see, now I'd be nervous about Indiana.
Why?
Because they're currently on a 14-game win streak.
So
that means if they go all the way and win the conference tournament, that means that next loss they're done.
They're done.
Indiana women in the Big Ten are 16-1 in the conference.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna just read you some of these records too. Indiana women, 26-1 overall.
Yep.
Maryland 24-5.
Insane.
Iowa 22-6. Ohio State women 23-6. Michigan 21-7. Illinois 20-8. You have 6 women's teams with 20 wins. And then you have Purdue women 18-8. Who could get 20 wins if they make a run in the tournament?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I think the Big Ten women, if you're not watching, especially be prepared next year because a lot of these people are coming back. Mm-hmm. Like Ohio State women, they're only having one senior. They're getting people back from injury. Yep. You've trained some of the people coming in. You know their dogs. Iowa, Caitlin Clark not only just leads the women's in points, she leads all of college basketball in points. She's averaging 27. She's going to be back next year. If you're not tuned into Big Ten women's next year, you got to lock in because there's almost a top 5 matchup every week. But it's everyone versus South Carolina.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that.
They're
so my thoughts: LSU
frauds.
Okay.
I only say they're. She's harsh.
They played against
just because they played against South Carolina. It was 1 versus 3 at the time, and they got smoked.
Yeah.
Girl, who she's Reese. She's really good, double machine. But when she went into that 6'7" girl from South Carolina,
different ball game.
It was over. And I think Dawn Staley right now, she's the best.
So now my question is, the UConn tear the reign is over?
Never count on Gino.
Yeah.
But South Carolina is the best program right now. Yeah, they've taken it. They've taken it. They haven't lost.
Crazy. She was just tired of getting picked on.
Yeah.
She got tired of picked. Said, enough's enough. It's my turn now. And then mental toughness, winner mindset. We'll do it my way. Get out. And now look at them.
Yeah, and when you watch these top women's games now, people are finally getting hit. Crowds are getting full. Yeah. I know the women here in Ohio State are outselling the men because the men are terrible. Yeah, but
I don't think they're going to make the tournament.
They won't. Yeah. The only way the Ohio State men can make
the conference tournament,
which they won't out, they will be out the first game.
Most likely.
And then that's it. They're not even good enough to make the NIT, which is
that's bad. That is.
But it'll be interesting, man. I can't wait to see the women's bracket.
Notre Dame for women's. How are they doing?
We can get the women's.
Yeah, I'm curious because I know Notre Dame. They can be here and there. I just don't know about them like that, like I used to.
Yeah. Notre Dame used to be a really good, sound pick for men and women.
Yeah.
But I know with the men, their coach is stepping.
So, Mike Bray. Yeah.
So just women's top. South Carolina number 1, 28-0. 14 home at home, 13 at home on the road. They are currently on a 28-game winning streak. They have not lost since before they won that title last year. Then you got Indiana.
Great team.
Stanford.
They have some players.
UConn's there, 25-5.
Okay.
LSU is 26-1. Don't know why they dropped all the way there.
Just
behind.
Because that game.
Iowa 6.
Yeah.
Maryland 7. Utah 8. Virginia. You said Notre Dame women. They're right at 10.
Watch out for them. Watch out for them.
My dream situation, obviously, I think the Buckeyes are going to win some games. I don't think they're going to win it unless they all everything starts clicking. But I would like to see South Carolina. I'd like to see South Carolina versus Iowa championship. That'd be my.
I will fly out to that game.
I would want to see. I don't know how Iowa's going to get there but
Clark has no help. But
if you can get Caitlin Clark against the number 1 team, South Carolina's on a 30-plus game winning streak. Caitlin Clark's still the nation's leading scorer. That'd be the dream situation.
That'd be awesome.
Right now, they would get killed, but if we get to that point, that's what I'd like to see.
100%.
But men's, there's a lot of teams that can win it. I'm going to give y'all some tidbits on March Madness. The strategy for people in this year, since it's so wide open, is don't try so hard to focus on getting the winner.
Yeah.
You are probably not going to get the winner.
No.
Get as many as you can get right in the first weekend, Sweet 16.
That's the tone.
If you can get someone at least in the Elite 8, you got a shot. Because I'm telling you right now,
it's open.
Kansas could go lose in the first round.
Yep.
Now, second weekend, they could run into Creighton. It's over. They could run. Don't have your favorite be in the same bracket as Rutgers. Do not. What if second round Houston has to play Rutgers?
I'm taking Houston, man.
I know you're taking it, but you're going to be sitting there quiet.
Yeah, I'll be quiet until the game's over. Absolutely.
So it's going to be who could survive. It's really good. Champs are going to be very hard to come by. All the favorites are probably they could be out in the first 2 weeks. And and then you have a 7 seed winning also. You got to be real careful when these brackets come out. Anything else, man?
No, I think we hit it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming out here talking. We talked about basketball, what it takes to win in this stuff, giving you guys a little preview of March Madness. And hell, we'll see. We'll see when the brackets come out. Selection Sunday, we might do something special for y'all. But with that being said, it's the L7C podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.